Welcome to Let's Talk Rescaled, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of justice reform. Hosted by Noa Shoshan and brought to you by RESCALED, a European movement dedicated to reshaping our approach to incarceration. In each episode, we explore the concept of detention houses instead of large prison institutions, shedding light on the voices, stories, and ideas that are transforming the landscape of justice across Europe and beyond. From policymakers to practitioners, advocates to academics, join us as we engage in insightful conversations with those on the front lines of systemic change. Gabriela Slováková is a notable person in the field of criminal justice in the Czech Republic. She serves as the director of the Criminal Policy Department at the Ministry of Justice of the Czech Republic, where she holds a role in shaping and implementing policies related to the criminal justice system. Gabriela is also the CEO of the Yellow Ribbon Czech Republic, an organization dedicated to awareness of the reintegration of people with a criminal past. Her work emphasizes awareness, rehabilitation, support for formerly incarcerated people, and the promotion of policies that aim to reduce recidivism and a more equitable legal system. In 2024, she managed to start bilateral cooperation with Norway, thanks to which the Yellow Ribbon Growing European Together hub is being created. The aim of this initiative is to spread awareness of the Yellow Ribbon Project to other European countries.
I started a long time ago, but basically during my studies, I worked in a hotel, and after the studies, I was a hotel manager. Then I moved with my husband to another location, and I was looking for a job, and there was a job offer in education of prison staff. Mm-hmm. And I was interested because my background is sociology, psychology, and I thought, okay. So I started in the prison area. My mom was, her whole career was in prison service. So when I was a child, I told to myself, I never want to work in the prison service. But suddenly I did. So I started, then I moved to Prague, to the headquarters. I did a lot of international relations. I represented the Czech prison service abroad. So I saw a great practice everywhere around the world. And then I was offered to become a prison governor. And I said yes, because I love working with people. I love talking to people. I need people to be around me. Yeah. So office work is not my dream job, basically. Mm-hmm. And it was the best time of my life because I became a governor of a female prison. I've been there for 9 years and a bit, and it was school of my life because I learned a lot about not only the prisoners or people in prison, but about human beings, about their life stories, about all the difficulties people have in their lives on both sides, the staff and the inmates. And then I moved to male prison, completely different story, working with women and men, but we have no time talking about that. And I'm also a mom. So during my career, I have a son who's 12 years old, great supporter of my work and all the things I do. And in 3 years ago, I gave birth to twin girls. So it was a twist in my life again when I said, okay, let's stop working in prison and I have to focus more on the family life. So I thought I will have some time off. Then I got this job offer at the Ministry of Justice to coordinate the criminal policy, and I thought, okay, that's it. I spent 20 years in the system working hard on building relations with communities in the prison, networking with NGOs. I think we did a great job in 2 prisons. Then we also want to influence the policy. So now I'm at the Ministry of Justice as a criminal policy director and responsible for for prisons, probation, and research. Of course, we cooperate with other services, and we now working on strategic materials, conceptual materials for next 7 to 10 years. And it's very difficult to be here because I miss all the people in the prison from both sides. But on the other hand, I think I can use my experience to help both services to go through changes. So that's my life at the moment. And among all of this, I'm an initiator of Yellow Ribbon Project, because when I worked in the prison and you see all these life stories and people without hope, and I found a moment how to show them I can be supportive even I'm a prison staff. I can show you the light in the end of the tunnel, because there's a way, there are people supporting you, the family, the community, employers, even the staff. So that's our Yellow Ribbon project about, I'm sure we will talk about it later, but this is, in total, I'm a crazy person who's very much involved in connections and wants to make changes. And some people call me more an activist than a prison governor, but I think I'm everything in one.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your journey. I was actually going to ask you, how does it feel? Because I think now you're more in a desk job situation. So I'm sure that's also a big change from the career that you came from and all the years you spent inside prisons. But it's also a nice change, because I think it's really important that people who have all that experience also help influence policy. You really understand what it's like because you have lived it, you have seen it from so close up. So that's an exciting change, I can
I
imagine.
still can, and I do it often, travel to prisons, also with the deputy minister or the minister or our colleagues. So I try to be in contact with the environment, but it's of course different from the daily work. But the Yellow Ribbon still keeps my feet on the ground, because then you see the real people, the real problems, and it sort of keeps me in line what I want to do and what I want to support in my life, not only at work, but also in my personal life. It's really important.
To someone who's never heard about the Yellow Ribbon Project and the Yellow Ribbon Run in the Czech Republic, could you maybe briefly explain what it is, where it comes from, and kind of,
Yeah, I have really long stories, but I will try to be shorter. Well, I used to be an ICPA board member, which is International Correctional Association, and I was very proud to be at this position. And we were invited in Singapore in 2011 to take part in the Yellow Ribbon Run. I never heard about it before in my life. But I said, okay, it's to support inmates. This is in line with my belief, so I will try. And then I saw this massive run of people with Yellow Ribbon T-shirts supporting people with their bad life history in the prison. And I said, yes, that's it. This gives a sense to what I do. I work in the prison as a governor, but that I cannot influence what's happening next. Yellow Ribbon can at least address people outside, create awareness. So I brought this project to the Czech Republic. Took a few years to start because it was something new. People were asking questions. How do you think this should work? Where we get money and so on. So the first Yellow Ribbon 9 years ago, we only had 32 runners, and 4 of them were from Singapore. But we also have people from prison, the current inmates, and just to maybe make you laugh a bit, the Singaporean Director General, those times, Mr. Sobaivach, when I told him these people are our current inmates and I wanted to introduce them, he was shocked and he said, Gabriela, we never run with inmates, we only run with ex-offenders. How did you do it? And so I lied to my boss, actually, who was the Director General those times. They can do it in Singapore. They bring people outside the prison, so we can do it. So he said, okay, if they can do it in Singapore, we will also try. But it was a lie, but I didn't know because I just misunderstood in Singapore. So this was our funny start. It was a shock also for me because the media asked, well, are you going to follow the prisoners somehow? Are the guards going to be there? And I said, no, why? Those people are before the end of the sentence, they have no reason to run away. They quite regularly go home during their sentence because they go through the program of treatment well, that we support them in their family life. And people were just shocked because the public didn't know how the prison works and about the possibilities. So it was nice opening, and we have lots of partners, the prison service, probation service, but also people from courts, prosecutors' office, prison staff, of course, but judges are running with inmates, also people from business who employ inmates or people from public. We have lots of ambassadors, well-known actors, singers. So we, after almost 10 years, we created a great community of supporters. And I'm very proud because I think it gives sense to all my work I've done. And you see also people outside understand what you do. It also changed the climate a little bit inside the prisons, because when you have, for example, guards running with prisoners during the training, it's different than just doing the job. And especially in the Czech Republic, we have a dormitory system, we have overcrowded prisons, shortage of staff, very sad environment. So these little activities, which are nice, produce endorphins when you run. Then it also changes the atmosphere inside the prison. During COVID, we also created yellow ribbon prison runs because we couldn't meet. So now we have prisons doing their local runs inside, and they always invite us. So just imagine very old-fashioned, I don't know, Belgian prison, quiet, strange environment, and then you have inside the courtyard, you have 50, 100 people in yellow ribbon t-shirt running. It completely changes, at least for one day, what I see, the atmosphere. And the beginning, of course, the prisoners didn't want to run, they were shy, the others were shouting from windows and laughing. But year after year, you have a different ratio. Now there's more people wanting to run and less people laughing. So I think it's actually a very influential project in many sites we didn't know when we started. So the yellow ribbon. And because we visited our 9th anniversary last year, and we do also more and more internationally. So we had 100 people from abroad, which is a miracle. So
yeah, that's an incredible number. We were really grateful with Rescaled for taking part in the Yellow Ribbon Run, and also with such a big group and people from all kinds of different countries all across Europe who joined us. And our Czech national office, our Czech member, Obigon Centrum, who you know very well. And I think the atmosphere that you just described was something that we could also very much feel. It was my first time at the Yellow Ribbon Run. I had heard a lot about it. I had seen pictures. And I've heard the stories, but had never taken part. And that atmosphere of everyone just being there together, and everyone's wearing the Yellow Ribbon Run shirt, and you don't know who is who, but you just get to interact with people, and you feel that it's really a community event, and that people show up there because they believe in the project, and they believe in what it can bring forward. That was really, really nice to experience.
Thank you for your feedback, because that's what we want to people understand. When you have the t-shirt, nobody knows if you're a prison governor or a prisoner. Sometimes it's really difficult because our very famous actor asked one of our runners, who was very eccentric, blonde hair woman with blue eyes, which prison are you in? And she said, I'm a judge. And it was really funny, because when you understand that it's very easy to put somebody in the box. It's difficult to take the person out. And I think in Yellow Ribbon, you don't really know who is who, and people talk, and it's the magic of the whole project. So
yeah, it makes you very aware of stereotypes and prejudice that you may have.
Exactly.
And allows for us to approach each other as human beings, which is something that we should do more often than, of course, during a yearly event. But you mentioned in the beginning when you started the media and the public opinion, they were asking, what's going on, and these people are actually incarcerated, but now they're completing in the run. Do you feel like that has changed, kind of the way it is now? People have really seen it year by year, and there's a more positive perception of it?
Oh, we our numbers in the project grow, but I think we still have a lot to do in influencing the public opinion, because there's also a lot of negative feedback from other sides. Of course, we have to find a balance, and we have to find the ways how to explain, and we learn each year, because it's also very important to talk about victims in our team, and to explain when you have more people who want to live in our society as good citizens, as people who go to work, who have children, who take care of their families, then you have less victims. If you want to produce more criminals, then let's do nothing and wait. But it's really difficult. It can also hurt somebody who's a victim of serious crime. So we have to be careful in the communication. But also both systems, the probation and especially the prison service, are more and more open to talk to the public, show what they do, show the good things they do with inmates, show the good things the inmates do for society, how they are involved in projects, charity projects, how they are involved in the community. But in the Czech Republic, it's very difficult because of the huge monsters, which are the prisons for 1,000 people, 800 people, dormitories. So it's very difficult to explain that among all these, hundreds of people, there are really nice ones who just didn't have a chance in their life, and we need to support them. We need to do it more and more in all the projects in the world, not just the yellow ribbon. And then, of course, we need to change the system. We shouldn't lock so many people in the prison. So that's why I'm at the ministry, because in the Czech Republic, we really put into the prison almost everybody. Even a person who steals a bottle of wine because it's an alcoholic and homeless person, causes zero violence to society, zero financial damage, and then we, at least from the economical reason, it doesn't make sense, and from the social and humane reason, it also doesn't make sense. So we have lots of things to explain, and not just how to integrate people into society, but also how to don't get people into prison for minor crimes, and how to solve their problem in the social system. So yeah, we need to work on communication, not only the yellow ribbon, also the ministry and all the, state system should be more open to explanations and to support.
It's great. What you mentioned is that it's a much broader approach, and a much broader perspective is needed to bring that system change, and not just changing things inside of prisons or doing projects like you mentioned. That's always a good thing, but managing like who comes in, and also which I guess the Yellow Ribbon Run is kind of contributing to that mindset shift, that perception shift also in the public opinion, because that can then again also help open doors to talk to policymakers or politicians to be more open and see how are we going to approach this, and especially what you mentioned, the social problems which often lead to criminality, or which lead to people even being affected by the justice system, because once you've come in touch with it, you kind of start a chain reaction of kind of going back in and out, and there we carry kind of a big responsibility as the society to think about, how have we built society? What are the challenges we're confronted with? And how can we even avoid getting to that justice system? Because that's kind of, it's at the end, it's kind of in the end phase. There's so many more steps before that where we can intervene and where we can help.
And that's my sort of mantra when I talk to people. you should start with the crime prevention in schools, because we are the result of the bad behavior of the state. If we don't take care of children, we don't help psychiatric patients, we don't help addicts, then we shouldn't be surprised that those people end up in prison. But it should be the other way around. Then we have better results. But it's a long journey, and I think the Yellow Ribbon can be really helpful, and that's why we started our European initiative. Because when you come to the justice system, at least around Europe, and you see the Yellow Ribbon, So I know we are not there yet, but if we have the international support and we have institutional support, for example, RESCALED started, but we also have CEP who took part in the Yellow Ribbon, and we have international community from the prison services. So if we all grow together and if we build this awareness together, nobody can stop us, and then it could be visible as sort of a symbol, because all the states do a great job in trying to increase awareness, but together it could be a little bit easier. We can share practice and ideas. So that's the point of the European project we do with the Norway Prison Service. So,
So just to clarify, maybe for the listening audience, so you kind of started an initiative together with the Norwegian Prison Service to bring the Yellow Ribbon Project to other countries in Europe and kind of expand. And is there some ideas? Would that be hosting the event on the same day in multiple European countries? Is it like beginning phase, or are there already plans for next year? For it to take place in other countries?
I have to tell you, well, I'm very proud, because I keep talking about, I'm the best ambassador, I think. I have to say I am for the Yellow Ribbon, because the Singaporean prison service never had this idea to spread around the world. But they are, of course, very happy, and they are our mother organization, very supportive, giving us all the logos and manuals and everything. But then I kept talking, and the Norway Prison Service, and especially Kim Ekhaugen, who was the representative for Norway grants, said, "Oh, it's such a good idea. Let's do something. Let's do something." And then we built this European little, really mini project last year called Yellow Ribbon Growing European, just to find out if people are really interested. And I'm so proud, because we had a few countries taking part. And this year we had already Yellow Ribbon in Croatia. Really happened in September, and I was there, and it was amazing. Wow. And when I remember the Croatian team, and I talked last November about the Yellow Ribbon, they said, "Oh, it's not possible in Croatia." And within is it like 9 months or 10 months, they had their first Yellow Ribbon with 150 people. They had current inmates, they had the Minister of Justice, all the important parts. The prison organized the run with probation. The people told me, "It's so great. We talk together. Prison officers and probationers talk during the run." So it's great. And we had in Lithuania, we had the first run the 4th of October, just because two people from Czech Republic and Norway met and said, "Let's do it, it's good." So of course, big thanks to Norway Grants, because we have, and everybody knows who does projects like this. We are sort of surviving. We need money to buy T-shirts, to do little things, and we cannot, from our little budget, Czech budget, build a European structure. But when we have such a great support, it works. And I think also RESCALED is very inspiring for us, because you had an idea and you built an international structure. And I like this because together we can be much stronger. So yeah, so Norway is the best partner ever. And when this year we visited the 20th anniversary of Yellow Ribbon in Singapore during the ICA conference, and we presented together our bilateral initiative. And we have other followers from Canada, from Texas,
Wow.
from Rwanda, from many countries. We have partners in Japan, so it could be even more than just European. But of course, it's just a dream. But I think it's good to dream big.
Yes, absolutely. Small steps to get there, but a big dream. That's really exciting to hear. And it's so cool to see how such in a short amount of time by just bringing the right people together. And I think also you said you're the best kind of ambassador. You carry that energy and you can bring that energy and that enthusiasm onto other people. And I think that's the most important part, like that feeling of the Yellow Ribbon Project, which can help convince others to kind of organize that in their country. And I think that's really beautiful to see kind of how people can come together. And that's also what I've experienced kind of with Rescaled and the whole wider movement is like there's people there who really believe in something. And they are there because they want to show up and not because they have to show up. And it brings for really beautiful connections and conversations, and also shows that we can have some impact. And it's even stronger if we do it together. And there's little our head of social impact, Veronica Aisha, she always likes to say there's like little fires everywhere and they're all kind of slowly brewing, and we need to connect them and we need to kind of bring them together and kind of make a lasting change. So that's a really nice thing. Go ahead.
This is talking about Rescaled. This is the big part I left till the end, because NGOs are our essential partners. And so Rescaled was part of Yellow Ribbon in the Czech Republic, because Rubicon Centrum is your Czech office, but also they started our initiative with me. I came with the idea, talked about it for a long time. Then I met people from running organization who said, okay, we will give you some free places, let's run with us. Then I met some people from business. I was surprised, but from the first moment I had a support from Rubicon, from probation, prison service, and we have over 50 NGOs supporting. I think it's almost everyone who's working with inmates supports the Rubicon, which is great. But Rubicon was our partner from the very beginning, and also when we talk about people with energy to influence others and to advocate for good things, I think Lenka Ouředníčková, who is I think representing the office in the Czech Republic, is also a runner and the person who supports the Yellow Ribbon from the very beginning. So we live in good circles.
Yes, so we absolutely do. Lenka is an incredible person, and also kind of how Rescale got to participate this year in the Ribbon Run. And with Rescale, you're also in kind of, so Rubicon Centrum, our Czech national office, and Rescaled member, they have a Rescaled expert group, which you are taking part in, I believe. How is that experience for you?
Well, but when I told you at the beginning, I had a chance to travel a lot, and long time before Rescaled existed, I saw very inspirative programs and projects like the house in Germany and others, and I was amazed. In my prison, we had little sections, for example, for mothers and babies, which was a little separate part of the prison, which was sort of in the principle of Rescale, because we had community, the children could play in the local playground and kindergarten, and it was great, and I loved it. So when I saw Rescaled, of course, I was one of the first fans, and I love it, and I love the whole concept of community work. Of course, I don't want to talk about financing and about political support, because we are as a newborn baby now, who needs a lot of support to survive. But Of course, this is the way. Every practitioner who is involved in corrections would support, because when you do little groups of people working in community as human beings, in principle of restorative justice, of course, comparing to dormitories, anonymous life of people who feel like sheeps with no hope, and we put it on scales. It's yes for rescaled and community prisons, and no for the big prisons. So that's why I'm part of the expert group, and we have produced a good practice map, and we have some good examples. And I think it's great what we do here. But of course, it affects only a minority of the number of prisoners, which is a shame. But we see in these good examples that it works. The recidivism rate is lower, the community or the public acceptation of those people is bigger, so it makes sense. And I'm actually glad you make a frame to all these activities, and as I said, together it always works well when you have other partners who are on the same track, and you can show examples from abroad, and not only from Norway, because sometimes we are told, okay, but in Norway they have a lot of money and great social system, so you cannot compare. But then you see similar things going in much poorer states than the Czech Republic. So
Absolutely.
I like it. I like it very much.
Thank you for sharing that. That's been a big insight for us as well, and still is, that there's so many examples out there in all different regions of Europe, and there's even some beyond Europe. Of course, that's not what we're currently operating, because we're a young baby, a small organization. But that has been such a great experience traveling around and seeing that this idea and this practice of a detention house that's small scale and community integrated, and really looks, okay, who are the people who are incarcerated here, that works. And it's been working for many, many years, for some for decades. And that's really a confirmation of kind of all these, of this belief and the experiences of different people, and seeing it's already working there, but we're not fully focused on it due to so many reasons, of course, like you said, financials, political support. I mean, that's a long journey, and it's important to be transparent about that as well. But it's really powerful to see that, the way that human beings work, that kind of shows that this concept works. And I think it's really powerful to hear from someone like you as well, with all your experience, kind of having worked within the system for such a long time, and saying that, this is something that I totally see working. This is something that we need, and that makes sense. Because there's so many people in prison systems doing their hardest work every single day: the staff, the social workers, the directors, the ministries, the directorate generals, trying so hard and giving their best to help people and to make sure that it works. But you also have an underlying system which can be working against you in some ways. And so it's not because people aren't trying hard enough, or because we don't know what we want or where we want to go. But there's things that work against. So that's what we're trying to enable a way that we can change the system to allow everyone to do the work that they actually want to do.
We just had a meeting with the Ministry of Social Affairs yesterday, talking about the same, trying to explain these are human beings. Before they came to prison, they were part of the social system, most of them with some troubles. For a short period, they are in the prison, but then it will be again your trouble. So let's cooperate more. And of course, we have really great staff in the Czech Republic, in the prisons, in probation, in NGOs. We cooperate a lot. I think we do just because we believe a lot of things which could not normally happen. But still, when you have this massive system, which is more or less anonymous, and people don't have space to do the work properly. Sometimes we have no people to do the work. We have no guards or no officers to do the basics. So then you cannot actually help as we could. And I think, of course, we cannot rebuild the whole system in small-scale detention houses, which would be great, but of course there are other priorities of the state. But we can start showing good examples, and I think it helps people understand. And well, because during my life, I'm in lots of working groups under, I don't know, the state office, and I was in Europris as a family relations chair of the group, and we talk the same language everywhere because it's again about good connections, community work, support from society, from the family, from employers. And you cannot do it when you have a massive dormitory prison with 2,000 people. Of course, you do some parts, you still see family once in a month, but you are among 100 people visiting also their families. No private time, no supporting of good power. It's almost impossible. That's why I'm saying I admire the staff, because they're still there and still trying and still have some good results, even the environment is very difficult. Yeah,
absolutely. That's really important to mention. Yeah. And maybe that's a nice thing to also round off the conversation, because I like that you mentioned that you spoke to the Department of Social Affairs, because that's also something that we're diving into more with Rescale now, is kind of addressing the shared responsibilities of the different departments, of the different ministries of a state, and all the different actors, because they are human beings who were under the social system and then moved to the justice system, but then they'll move out of the justice system, and how we can improve our collaboration there, and figure out where all of the points are, maybe where we're also falling short in the transition before or after or during, and try to see it more from a comprehensive perspective, because I think that really allows us to see where are we going wrong, and where can we improve and where can we go better. And we think, at least with Rescale, that a small-scale detention house would make that easier, would facilitate that collaboration with all these different actors.
Yes, exactly. As you say, it's so important. And in the Czech Republic, I have to say, at the ministries, they are really great people doing great jobs. But sometimes we are just the points and we are not the chain. And when we become a chain, because networking and in the state sector is something we have to learn a lot. And there are so many projects going parallel. If you would connect them, it would be a success, but you don't connect for some reason I don't understand. So it's important to work, and we have a great system of social support outside, but not very much connected, or it is connected to the system, prison system, but not very structured, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So these little things can paradoxically help a lot. So that's why we try to partner Ministry of Healthcare, the problems with addiction, how to solve this, because it's more health and social problem. The prison doesn't solve it normally. So yeah, it's difficult. Even the state should take the responsibility, because now it's more or less dependent on individuals, NGOs, but it's everywhere. I think it's a common problem.
Yeah, it's a common challenge, not just in the Czech Republic. We kind of see it everywhere. But we have to connect the dots when we have to all contribute our little piece and carry a bit of the weight. And I am hopeful that we can get somewhere and that we will improve. I was wondering if maybe for next year's 10th anniversary of the Czech Yellow Ribbon Run, you would want to just share for people who are listening who may be interested in joining, or if someone is planning to do a little trip, maybe it would be a nice moment just to share that with someone.
Coming to the end, I think this is my main goal, to invite all of you to join us in June in Prague to run the 10th anniversary of Yellow Ribbon. The theme is family. Not just the family, but the Yellow Ribbon family. We want to thank to everybody who's been with us for those long years. And I think it's worth to be in Prague in June. So maybe RESCALED could talk about joining again and having a meeting in June, because now I think we are more and more connected and other states are following. I told you we have Croatia, we had
Yes.
Lithuania, but also Poland and other states, Norway, are planning. So maybe it doesn't matter if you're rescaled or representing a Belgian prison system, but we can all meet in Prague, and it would be great fun. So I hope to see you, because you've experienced that and you said you liked it. So
Yes,
it could help us to spread the vibe among other people.
absolutely. I would love to do that. I wanted to say thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, for donating your free time. I know you're very busy and have a lot of hard but exciting work going on at the Criminal Policy Department. But thank you so much also for sharing your own story, your personal story, and just bringing that energy and bringing those values forward. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy to share with you because I'm your big supporter, as I told you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in while we talked Rescaled. We hope today's episode has inspired you to think differently about incarceration and the possibilities for positive change in our communities. To learn more about Rescaled and our mission to support the use of detention houses, visit our website at www.rescale.org or follow us on social media for the latest updates. Be sure to follow along for more thought-provoking discussions and join us as we sit down with our next guest and continue to explore the path towards building communities that are safe, inclusive, and sustainable. Please also do feel encouraged to reach out to us because we would love to hear your thoughts on shaping the future of detention. Let's keep talking, let's keep listening, and let's keep pushing for a justice system that truly serves all. This is Noa Shoshan signing off for Let's Talk Rescaled.